Hey, it's your bud Doug. Greetings from the Artist Lounge at Mixed Country 96, and today we welcome the lovely Charlotte Medley, and on guitar today, Dan Hagen. You guys drove up from Nashville, I guess, huh?
Yes, early this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, he slept all the way though.
Is that true, Dan?
She picked me up at 2 in the morning,
Yeah.
and I had a license to sleep. She told me I could beforehand, so I took full
I didn't mean
advantage.
it.
Snored and everything.
Guitar players need rest too,
Yeah,
right?
right.
You need your beauty
I've
rest.
got all 6 strings that need to be worked here.
That's right. Now, your singing ability started when you were old enough to walk and talk, right? And you're from Texas originally,
Yes,
right?
originally from Texas.
And how old were you when you started singing? You were probably too young to remember, but your parents certainly remember, don't
Yes,
they?
this is true. My mother said of me, I was, dancing before I could walk and singing before I could talk. But my first talent show, I was in kindergarten and I danced and sang to "Good Day Sunshine" by the Beatles. And, yeah, and I remember my older sister was in the audience and she was really proud and thought I had some moves,
I bet you did. That's very cool.
That's my favorite song.
And you played the coffee shops, the circuit in Texas for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, and I traveled a little bit with a gospel band for a while and sang with them, and so did a lot of.
That's our bud bugging us again. It's our Artist Lounge insect. Yeah.
Mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did the circuit in Texas, and which led me, here to Tennessee, and of course, played some festivals and things like that. Willie Nelson, he had the festival out there in Texas every year, so that was exciting, and as a young artist, but Nashville was the right move for me. Yeah.
Now you won a battle of the bands in Texas, didn't you?
Was
that in Texas or was that in Nashville?
In Tennessee. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And that led to a recording contract with DreamWorks, right?
It did. It absolutely did. Actually, James Stroud, I met him the next day, and it was just fate, God just, arranged it. But it was we were down to 2 bands. It was my band and this other guy, and come to find out it was his engineer, and he told James the next day, he said, "You need to look out for Charlotte Medley," and then he met me that night, and so we ended up showcasing for him.
And boy, you couldn't have met a better person, because James Stroud, he's a heavy hitter in the music business, isn't he?
He's just a wonderful soul too, he's a good man, and he has a sister named Charlotte, so that was kind of neat.
That's cool. Now, Charlotte, not only do you record music, you have since we talked about since you were knee-high to a grasshopper, but you're also an author, and if you don't mind, I'd like you to talk about this book that you brought with you today.
Yes.
And your nonprofit.
Yes, it's called The Upside of Downs. I wrote this about my son Elijah, who had Down syndrome and autism. But I tell people he wasn't special needs. I was the one especially in need of an unconditional love, and God packaged that through this little child that, that I got to be his mom. He passed away 2 years ago, and I had set up a nonprofit prior to that happening. It was a freak accident, unexpected, and it happened when we were out of town. Elijah became a donor, and 3 babies that had 0 chance on the donor waiting list received the gift of life. And so even though it was a very difficult thing, it was something beautiful came from it. So my nonprofit, what we do, Elijah Ministries, is we pay for the adoption application fees for families that would adopt special needs children. And we also, as a single parent, things like strollers, anytime you say special needs, add a couple of zeros to the ticket price, $2,500 for a stroller for him. So we want to assist families in paying for things like that. So we offer the book and our album that came out simultaneously. We offer these on a website for a gift to the nonprofit Elijah Ministries, which are a 501(c), so it's tax deductible. So if you go to charlottemedley.com, you can scroll down and you'll see the link for Elijah Ministries and what we do.
charlottemedley.com, that's Medley,
yes.
Right? And I was just thinking, you gave me chills when you were sharing your story with us, and I think it's just a wonderful way to remember your son, Charlotte.
Thank you.
And continue the memories that you had with that little boy. I just can't get over looking at his pictures. He seemed so happy.
Yeah, he was the purest love and the purest joy that I've ever experienced, like I said, and we don't have any guarantees in this life, you know, and every moment is precious, and we need to hang on to those things. And you know, but I cried like I never cried when I lost him, but you know, I asked God, you know, how can I move forward and how can I help others, you know. Purpose always precedes pain, and you can't take people where you haven't been. And so our story is a story of hope and inspiration, and no matter, not just for Down syndrome or autism, those were just two of his extra special gifts, but anyone who's struggling, you know, because we have lots of stories within our story. He had over 16 surgeries and procedures, and God brought him through every single one of them. We lived in the hospital, but you know, no matter what you're going through, whether it's a divorce or financial loss, you know, there's hope, and that's our message, is hope, you know. So.
And for our viewers going through a trying time, they should take something from this.
Absolutely.
In a very positive way, and thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Charlotte, you've got your latest single. It's called "See Something, Say Something."
Yes.
And I was checking that out on YouTube earlier, and I like that. Tell us a little bit of history behind that song, please.
Thank you. Yes, see something, say something. So, you know, we live in a world today where we're so socially connected but disconnected. We've lost the human touch. You know, you can go out at any given night and see a couple sitting across the table from each other, not even having conversation, but just on their phones.
Texting each other.
Yeah, texting each other. I would ask, I mean, I'm bold enough to say, hey, are y'all texting each other over the music? So, you know. But I was downtown one night, and I was crossing the street, and this homeless guy was, you know, this happened in a brief moment. He was crossing the street, and we kind of met in the middle, and he looked very distraught. He, you know, it was great concern. I said to him, I said, sir, are you okay? And he looked a little bit more intense, and, you know, like something bad. I just got a feeling something bad was about to happen. And I put my hand on his shoulder, and I said, sir, you're going to be okay. And I just watched his countenance change, you know, like in that moment, he believed me. And whatever else happened after that, you know, it was just a human moment, and I just think that we need to connect again as human beings, and we could be that change. You know, one word of encouragement can change the course of someone's life, and so that's what the song is about. See something, say something.
No telling when the last time that gentleman heard something that warm and that you know, caring from another human being.
Right.
Because as we all know, that the homeless they tend to be shunned in a lot of cases.
Yes.
But they're humans too.
That's
and
right.
Good for you for what you did, taking that few seconds to stop and putting a smile on that man's face.
Right.
I can't wait to hear the song. Were you going to say something else? Sorry.
Oh, well, you know, and I think it's just people in general, because we all carry, you know, like, it's easy to see, like, a homeless person and see that they have an obvious struggle, but there are people that are walking around in prisons that you can't see, and that they're carrying things that you can't see, but just having a kind word or just a word of encouragement, say, hey, you know, you're going to be okay, you know, could bring hope to them as well. You know, like some scars are obvious and some we carry on the inside, but words of life, you know, bring healing.
You ready to do the song inspired by what you just did?
Yeah. Are you going to play the track, or are we going to do it live?
We'll just do it live. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Charlotte Medley, Dan Hagen on guitar, ladies and gentlemen.
See something, say something to me. This world is hard and I can't breathe. I know I'm not myself, you see. See something, say something to me. When you're on your own, you get swept away. You can lose yourself, lose your faith. World's on fire while we're turning. We find our hope when we're face to face. See something, say something to me. listen to me.
All right. Charlotte Medley, see something, say something. Like she mentioned earlier with her experience with the homeless fella, when you see something, say something, do something.
Yes.
You can make a difference. You
That's
can be
right.
an earth angel just like Charlotte here. Want to talk about some things on your plate. You're gearing up for a USO tour? Is it?
We were. That's actually put off till next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the year's kind of, taking a turn, and we're, kind of wrapping up this year. But yeah, definitely in the spring we're looking at doing that.
Did I see Darius Rucker?
Yeah, we
On the bill?
did that before when this album came out.
Okay.
So we had done that before with Darius Rucker.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But you've got another one coming up
Yeah.
sometime next year?
Yeah, first
Where-
of next year.
Now, your previous USO tour, where did you go?
Well, we raised money for the troops.
Okay.
So they actually, we didn't get to go to Afghanistan, but we raised money for them and
Okay.
sent them gifts and things like that. So that was part of what we were doing.
That's very cool.
And toys for tots too with the Marines. We did, things like that through the years with them as well.
That is great. That is great. I wanted to revert to back to working with Willie Nelson and Three Doors Down. I remember reading something about that. Was that at the same venue?
No, actually, it was two different, festivals.
Okay.
And so
Because you never know where Willie's going to show
no,
up.
and actually, we got to go on the bus with Willie and meet his sister.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. His sister Bobby?
Yes, and I had a friend who actually was his tour manager too, so he kind of set that up so that we could open for him, and so that was kind of fun. Bruce, I don't know if you know Bruce, but he was-
I've heard of him. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did Willie happen to do his card trick for you? Have you seen that?
No, but I told him I was the other redheaded stranger, and we just laughed. So.
That's great.
Yeah, and he was really nice.
That's
yeah.
great.
I was, that's probably one of the few. Well, because you meet a lot of artists, in the music business, but he was one of the ones I was just enamored by. I'm just a huge fan.
Yeah.
From across the board, from Texas, so.
There's not one person who never said they didn't want to, whoever said they didn't want to work with Willie.
Yeah.
And he sang with so many people
Oh,
from
I
so many
know.
different genres of music.
And he's genuine, That was my takeaway with him is he was just absolute. He is who he is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that experience. You have time to do one more song for us?
Yeah. We do Waiting to Be Found?
Yeah.
Okay.
Waiting to be Found?
Yes.
And which album can this be found on? Oh, the new one right here.
Yes.
The new album, Wait, from Charlotte Medley. Waiting to be Found, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody falls down. Everybody bleeds out just a little or a lot. Maybe different, but it's not. Everybody cries sometimes. Everybody's heart breaks into two, maybe three, maybe four. I'm not for sure. But that's when the sunlight hits me. I felt the force, it was falling from the sky. Waiting to be found, waiting on your love, waiting to be found, waiting through the storms. I'm still waiting, oh, 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 ooh, I'm still waiting, oh, 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 ooh. Everybody feels like this. Everybody tries hard to be wanted, to be loved, giving out, giving up. Everybody hides sometimes. Everybody runs hard from the truth, from themselves, from each other. It's all the same. That's when the sunlight hits me. I felt the force, it was falling from the sky. Waiting to be found, waiting on your love, waiting to be found, waiting through the storms. I'm still waiting, oh, 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 ooh, I'm still waiting, oh, oh, ooh. Will you find me here? I'm so lost, I'm so lonely.
the bend on the strings there. That's
Yeah.
great, man.
Hey,
Nice
you know,
job.
they bend both
It's that
ways.
nap he got on the way in.
Right. Well rested.
You can't play an Eric Clapton Martin without a couple bends.
That's right.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Bend there. Done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You're on social media. You're all over social media, aren't you?
Yes, we're on Facebook, Charlotte Medley, charlottemedley.com. And we talk about our nonprofit too, and we're also doing a movie. So we're working on a
Doing a movie?
faith-based inspirational movie based on Elijah's story. So
Cool.
that's in the works. And obviously, Instagram. I mean, Charlotte Medley. And that's my real last name, so I'm easy to find. No alias.
Any relation to Bill?
Well, we asked him.
I know you've heard that before.
Yes, absolutely. And a friend of mine plays guitar for him, and
Oh,
so
really?
we asked Jamie, and we asked Jamie to, ask Bill if he's got a redheaded cousin, and he's like, no. Don't recall. At least the family hasn't told us.
Yeah.
So this is kind of fun.
So folks can get the book you talked about and your
Yes.
CD on your website,
Yes.
charlottemedley.com, Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
and
You can find us, just Google us and you can find us. And of course, See Something, Say Something, Apple Music, iTunes, any of those outlets.
and you're all over YouTube as well.
Yes, yeah. We got some videos there as well.
Now back to the movie real quick here before we wrap it up. Has production started on this movie?
No, we're actually formulating the screenplay and who we want to get to produce it.
Casting and
yeah,
whatnot,
yeah. So it's still in the early stages, but there's a lot more to the book. I did a heavy edit when I wrote that book. There were so many things that happened afterwards, and we want to include that. It's more to the story, but it's a story of overcoming.
And do you have a title in the works yet?
The Upside Downs.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's based off the book.
All right, we'll be
Yeah.
looking very forward to
Oh,
that.
thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Might be an opportunity for you.
Thank you, Charlotte.
What do they say in radio? You have a face for radio.
Oh, I've heard. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
Great to meet you.
Thank you. You guys sounded great.
Thank you
and
so much.
before you head back to Nashville, what's next on the stop list?
Well, we have a show tomorrow. This was our last stop on the way back.
We're actually going back to Nashville
and
and
then we leave
to
in the
Illinois.
morning. And
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were.
We like to stay on the road and drive
Yeah.
more than we need to.
Because it's fun like that.
Yeah. Well, safe travels.
Thank you so much.
God
Thanks
bless
for
you
having
both.
us.
You're
I
very
appreciate
welcome.
that. Thank you.
And Charlotte Medley with us today, and Dan Hagen on guitar. We'll see you next time on the Artist Lounge at Mixed Country 96.
Thank you.